climate. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. We have a lot of weather stories to get to, so let's jump right in and talk about some of the top stories. You guys know how I like to do this. I like to give you our top stories, and then, of course, I like to give you some good news at the end of it all. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let's kick things off with, well, the top weather story, which is tracking Typhoon Sinlaku. And this is a huge story right now. All right, let's get into what happened and let's get into the details here. What you're looking at here is an image that's offered to us by NASA. So shout out to NASA. This is a visible infrared imaging radiometer suite. Now, this has to be exclusive and proprietary to NASA, of course, and we're so grateful for all the work they do. I do want to point something out. All right, while we are not above the average number of typhoons for the season, remember, typhoon season runs year round, unfortunately. Last year, we broke records. I think it was something like 24, was it 24 named storms? 13 were typhoons, and 4 of those 13 were super typhoons. This is a super typhoon Sinlaku, and we're going to get into the details, talk about exactly what we're seeing here. Let's show you the direction, the expected forward movement. It's going to be more of a northeastward movement there. Currently, we have a warning that's active tropical cyclone in the northwest Pacific. Max sustained wind speeds based on 1 minute average wind radii, valid over open water only. Super important to note, because at this point, they're going to be doing things like, of course, looking at buoy data. But in this case, because of where it is, I think it's important to note that we have it in the northern Mariana Islands, and in this case, it's impacting Tinian and Saipan. I do want to give you the latitude, longitude of the location of the northern Mariana Islands. Okay, I think this is also great information. We have 145, 15.2. We're rounding out, right? Rounding off here. 15.2 north degrees, 145.8 degrees. Okay, east. So that's northeast latitude, longitude. I do want to talk about what we're expecting here as far as this particular unfortunate super typhoon is concerned. This is a very interesting update, and hopefully you can see this behind me. You can see here, this is our updated weather screen. I really like this one. It's a touch screen, but right now, because of the way I'm seated, it's not going to happen, but I will do one of these. I'll duck and dive so that you guys can see exactly what's happening. This is major because of I think the inference to what we could see for the rest of the Pacific and for hurricane season, right? Now, remember, none of these oceans, sometimes they seem like they have nothing to do with each other. They all have something to do with each other. Right? So we've talked about teleconnections several times here. So you will see here, let me actually have another wonderful image here. Let me grab this one here. This is the same one you're seeing right behind me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom on in here and get you some really important information as to the recent data. Alrighty, so we're seeing significant wave height in feet at about 40 feet as this continues to churn across the Pacific. We have max wind speeds at approximately, wow, that's increased. We were at 150 knots, which is about 135 miles per hour. It's approximate. I'm not doing exact math in my head, but I'm doing approximate math here. And gusting up to 140 knots. And this is the most recent reading. Let's see. Let's look at what we have here as far as the bearing and distance. Okay. Saipan. Direction 324. And then we have the distance at about 118. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, 118 nautical miles. I wanted to make sure it wasn't, I'm assuming it's in nautical miles, right? But it is in nautical miles. I wanted to confirm that part of it. And you can see that the expected impact here is relegated to the northern Mariana Islands. Now, I kind of want to give you, I just talked about the latitude, longitude, okay? Let's look at Guam, for instance. We're at Guam is somewhere at about, wait a minute, 100. Where are you, Guam? There you are. About it, and we, as we just said, it was like 145 point, was it 2, right? We have east latitude. Was that right? Hold on a second. Yes. Okay. Let's go back. Just making sure that, like, I'm making sure I'm kind of getting some perspective here. And then longitude is at approximately right around, it's between 12 and 14 degrees north. Okay. We're just looking at Guam. There it is right behind me. Can you see it? There it is. That's Guam right there. Okay. So if we were to continue to go, let's see if I can follow this, northward, right? Northward, and then bear eastward, northeastward. This is where you can see the super typhoon impacting the region. This is, I'm very, very concerned for Saipan. Silver alert. Silver alert has just been activated locally by the California Highway Patrol. Hang on. So we've got to keep an eye out for that as well. Let's see if any other information was updated. No. I mean, I'm telling you, today's one of those days everything is happening. So I hope you guys are all just keeping track of what's out. There's a lot here. So that was a quick, let me just get off with those big stories. Okay. The first one was, of course, our typhoon. We're tracking Typhoon Sinlaku in the Northern Mariana Islands. And it looks like a big impact on Saipan. Okay. Next, we're going to get into tornado watches issued by the National Weather Service. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on what's happening with the super typhoon. If anything, I'll post something separate, but we do have to get into these tornado watches issued, severe thunderstorm warnings as well. We had red flag warnings. We have lots of flood advisories. We also have winter weather advisories. Additionally, we have wind alerts. This looks like it's an air quality concern. I want to just confirm this, right? This is certainly, no, this is dense fog advisory. Sorry about that. That's a dense fog advisory. We have a special weather statements issued, and this is a freeze watch. All right. So we're going to go through that in detail and talk about what we're seeing right now. There is a lot of weather happening. Okay. We have severe storms, not only in effect for today, but also for tomorrow. We have flooding concerns. We have noise pollution concerns. Can you believe that? I've got noise pollution concerns right now to deal with. And this has to do with anthropogenic noise. This is actually one of my bigger concerns, believe it or not. I've been talking about this for several years. I'm glad that the Audubon Society is starting to take note here and address this issue when it comes to birds and migrating birds and what that's doing. But of course, as always around here, we have to end with some good news. And this is a goodie. The cloud jaguar has been spotted in Honduras. I want to kind of give you a little cheat sheet here because I'm excited. This is what it looks like. This thing is cool. There it is. Look at how gorgeous this is, okay? This is a real life sighting of the beautiful cloud jaguar. So we're going to get to that in just one moment. Let's get into our discussion. This is our short range discussion, and I think it's worth going through this quickly, but of course, addressing our major concerns. We talked about the problem that we're seeing in the Pacific, and of course, that super typhoon is going to be a big problem. And unfortunately, if you are in the crosshairs, and this does include Saipan, this will be something you will have to be taking notes. Now, if you have friends and family in the region, I don't think, apart from just leaving the island, there's just not much you can do right now. You're just going to have to bear down, try to find the highest location, and then just be as safe as possible. Okay. So again, this is Super Typhoon Sinlaku. Let's go back to our top stories here locally in the lower 48. We have our tornado watches as issued by the National Weather Service. I'm actually going to go into the Storm Prediction Center quickly. I believe I have it right here. Here it is. Okay, this is our overview concerning thunderstorm watches, severe thunderstorms, threat of tornado watches. Here you can see in your hatched area here, some of these storm cells are severe, and we already have our storm reports that have been issued for this fine day, April 15th, 2026, aka tax day. All right, so let's talk about some more things that we have going on here. Late season snow for the Cascades, Northern Plains, and Northern Rockies. There is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over parts of the middle, lower Mississippi Valley on Wednesday, and excessive rainfall, which is why I mentioned the flooding concern stationary front extending from the northeast to the Great Lakes and the Central Plains, along with a dry line over the central southern plains. I'll show you in just one moment. Will produce showers and severe thunderstorms from the Great Lakes to the middle Mississippi Valley and to the central southern plains through Thursday. Therefore, SPC has issued a slight risk of 2 to 5. Again, I think that's a little low, but we'll stick with that 2 to 5 out of respect for the Storm Prediction Center. Hazards associated with these thunderstorms are frequent lightning, severe thunderstorms, gusts, and hail, and a few tornadoes. Just a few tornadoes, but hey guys, just be mindful of those tornadoes. Let's show you that dry line. Once again, I just had it open over here. Maybe this is it. There it is. It's right here. Okay, here's your dry line right there. Do you see my handy dandy little hand? There's your dry line. This is the problematic maker of what's happening in the, what's going to happen in the southern plains. So please be advised and be aware. Let's talk a little bit about why this dry line is such a concern. Just a textbook definition: boundary separating moist and dry air masses. This is a big problem because when we see the clashing of these air masses, meaning a dry warm air mass versus a moist air mass, this is where we always see dynamic activity. Strong storm systems can sweep by this line eastward into the Mississippi Valley. Regardless of time of day, a typical dry line passage results in a sharp drop in humidity, hence the name. Clearing skies and a wind shift from the south or southeasterly to west or southwesterly or southwesterly. Blowing dust and rising temperatures also may follow. These changes occur in reverse order when the dry line retreats westward. And again, this doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So when that happens, we'll keep you alert. Severe and tornadic thunderstorms often develop along a dry line, and that's simply because of the difference in these air masses. Okay, now look at this really quickly. Once again, I have the typhoon right behind me. This is super typhoon Sinlaku. I want you to keep that in mind, especially for our dear friends in Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands. A very intriguing part of the world. One of those places that I've never been to. I've always wanted to go. I find the atolls to be fascinating. Wasn't ever sure if it's somewhere that I trust going. I don't know. I don't know how safe I'd feel going, but whatever. Hopefully that's going to be somewhere we end up going soon enough. But I thought that was a great update for you guys as far as where exactly we're seeing the super typhoon head. Okay, it's headed in that direction. So a few things here include our stationary boundary, which is what we were talking about. There it is there. You're seeing our stationary boundary. Let's move up by just one day, okay? We have this dry line that just won't stop, can't stop. And then we're going to see, of course, the threat of those severe storms. We are seeing these hatched areas of these storms likely going severe in Iowa, in Missouri. So as we just said, this is something we're going to be tracking. Once again, we are seeing wintry precip up and along the Pacific Northwest. It was actually what we started off with in our weather updates here. The Cascades, was it? Northern Plains and Northern Rockies. In addition, the system will produce, as we just said, I believe, apart from the snow, concern for avalanches. Remember, we're almost at, we're in the spring season. I mean, for heaven's sake, we're just weeks away from summer 2026, right? So we're already seeing snow melt, right? We're seeing compromised snow as far as skiing goes, as far as backcountry skiing goes. So just keep an eye on, especially if you're a skier, keep an eye on what's happening as far as your daily reports on the slopes, okay? On Thursday, showers and severe thunderstorms will develop over parts of the Northeast. For heaven's sake, you can't get a break in the Northeast. Therefore, the SPC has issued a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over parts of the Northeast from Thursday through Friday morning. These hazards are associated with thunderstorms, lightning, severe thunderstorms, wind gusts, hail, and tornadoes, as I mentioned. Meanwhile, a front moves onshore over the Pacific Northwest overnight Wednesday and moves inland up and across the upper Midwest, Central Rockies. Great late season snowfall over the Cat State. I don't know about that. I don't like that. Who was this? Zeigenfelder. I wouldn't say great late season snowfall over the Cascades, Northern Rockies, and Northern Plains, because I think we're going to get an avalanche warning. So I would say Zeigenfelder, maybe with the adjectives, like lean back a bit, because I just think that that's a little bit misleading in my opinion, because you could get some issues there with the actual snow being compromised due to this snow belt that we're seeing. Coastal rain will develop over the northwest coast through Thursday. By Thursday, the rain will develop over parts of the northern plains. So there you have it, a quick and dirty look at what's happening around the nation. If we look quickly at our weather alerts, we have, here's our tornado watch, right, as issued by the National Weather Service in that bright yellow, kind of like a canary yellow. We have our flood alerts as well. This is our flash flood watch issued along the UP into the Great Lakes region. We have Michigan involved. Oh yeah, we always have Ohio. Ohio, I'm sorry, but you're always in the crosshairs of a lot of weather. And of course, we have Wisconsin as well. So the upper Midwest into the UP, we have flood watches. We also have flood warnings, flood advisories, and flash flood watches. Here's a concern as far as let's see here. Here is a major concern as far as I'm concerned. Red flag warning has been issued. And this right here is a big problem because we are seeing dry conditions. If we kind of just piggyback it, let's go back to our NSEP. No, this is not our NSEP. Let's go. Our NSEP was somewhere around here. There it is. Okay, perfect. Perfection. Here is this is a quick surface analysis map. I always like to compare and contrast these with you guys, right? So here we can actually see a quick surface analysis. If I actually wanted to show you a better quality, I'd go into this map right here, okay? This is the map I'd go into. I like it better. I think it's a little bit harder to read for most of us, especially when we're just streaming like this. But in general, if you can just take a quick look here, I like this image better. But let's go back to the more simplified, easier to read, easier to see product, okay? I like this a lot. Let's just take a look here. You guys can actually see what I have open here across the all my tabs here. Actually, I have like 4 more like graphics with all my tabs open across this. This kind of goes around the room. All right. So here we see our dry line, which is going to trigger those storms. Here we see our stationary boundary. There you can see our trough. You can just see how these surface lows are continuing to migrate eastward. we are watching this area right here because the concern, of course, is that snow, that late season snow. We do have the chance for snow. We have mixed precip. We have a little bit of ice, a little bit of something for everybody. So yes, I think this is a really great map to cross-reference and kind of just put together with this right here. All right. So if you haven't been with me before, Erika Martine, Weather and Climate. This is where we just dive in and do lives, guys. I love doing lives with you. A lot of folks don't because you kind of have to wear your heart on your sleeve. If something goes awry, for example, I was supposed to start an hour earlier. Something went awry. I just had to go with the flow. In this case here, as I click along and around these graphics for you, you kind of get to see what I'm thinking, right? You actually see like how my train of thought goes. So oftentimes you won't see these lives, but I love doing them for you. I don't care what what it looks like if I'm like kind of flip-flopping from graphic to graphic. I don't think these have to be perfect at all. I just like you to see what's actually happening in real time when we do these lives. Alrighty. So we have let's go through our states here, right? Let's just why not just start off in the Pacific Northwest and then we'll kind of just head southeast where there's just not much going on right now. Okay, so we're going to start off in the Pacific Northwest. Oh my gosh, Washington, what don't you have going on right now? All right, mountain snow through tonight, winter storm warnings, additional 4 to 8 inches for the eastern slopes of the Cascades through 5 a.m. PDT Thursday. Winter weather advisory. We have additional 2 to 6 inches for the upper east slopes of So I didn't correct that. Oregon versus Washington Cascades, northern Blue Mountains, ooh, so pretty, of Oregon through 11 p.m. EDT. Check the forecast and travel conditions or join me right here for all of your updates live and in real time. Let's see. Visit the, looks like it's the Washington State Department of Transportation. Triple check the website. Leave yourself extra distance between yourself and the vehicle in front of you. Follow traction chains, 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains. Just have the chains with you. Winter storm warning, freeze warning, winter weather advisory, wind advisory, frost advisory, freeze watch, special weather statement. Let's click on that one. That seems to be the most intriguing. Strong thunderstorms impacting portions of the southwestern ferry of southeastern Okanogan counties through 5 p.m. Doppler radar tracking strong thunderstorms 11 miles southeast of the Nespelem community or 40 miles southeast of Omak, moving southeast at 10 miles per hour. So there's a lot happening here in and along our great state of Washington. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And from here, so let's just head on down to Oregon. Why not? Because to me, I always feel like those kind of just go together, even though the weather, you're not get offended. I didn't mean it that way. I meant I always put these together and just keep these as one, update. And I always make sure that I kind of just take care of you guys together because I always think that you share the weather. Even though you have your independent weather, you share the weather. Here we have wind advisories that have been issued on Southwest Oregon into Northern California. The Great Basin, you guys are slammed. So Nevada, you definitely are seeing some big issues with wind advisories. Let's take a look. Well, yeah, there you go. That makes sense, right? Here you go. 0Z Thursday, 0Z, 0Z, let's see. 6Z Thursday, 12Z Thursday, 18Z Thursday, 0Z Friday, 12Z Friday, into 0Z Saturday, okay? So that makes absolute sense. If I were going to go to my COD quickly, which I thought I had open. Yeah, I actually have the radar open right now, okay? So as you can see here, which by the way, let me switch this behind me. I want that one behind me. There it is, okay? So there is my COD weather update. Let's take a look here at what we have as far as COD weather goes. And perhaps I can actually, let's see here. Maybe give you guys another. Hang tight. Hang tight, hang tight. All right, let's pick up some of our, this is doing the weirdest thing lately. Okay, hang on 1 second. All right, guys, let's just get your COD, our numerical models. Let's pick up our GFS. Let's go CONUS. All right. Let's look at our model on 18Z. Don't love it. We'll go to our SLP. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. So, and actually, let's just go to our wind. Lying. Let me go to our winds. Let me go to our wind speed at 925. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there you go. Wow, look at the winds. They really do get a lot stronger through tonight into tomorrow. By this afternoon, this evening, we're getting a really strong westerly wind. These are really strong winds here. Please be advised. Also seeing some pretty strong winds around California. Let's see, Western Oregon, Western Washington State as well. Now, no surprise here. Remember, this is where our hold on. This is where we have our tornado watch. No surprise that this is what we're seeing here, right, as we continue to move this forward. Alrighty, now we have some more issues here through 9Z Friday. And if we were to just quickly take a cheat sheet and say, let's just see what's happening. Let's take a quick look here. Let's wait a minute. Okay, nope. Why did this just do this? Okay, here we go. All right, we just took a tornado. All right, tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. Hang on to that thought very quickly as I get into our convective outlook really fast. I'm just going to give you a day one. Boom. Okay. All right, day one. That's day two, quickly, and then day three. All right. So here we go. This is a big problem on day three. I got to hustle onto our tornado warnings that have been issued by the National Weather Service. It looks like it's somewhere around. Yeah, there it is. All righty. Tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service. Let's go ahead and dig on in. Why are you not showing me what I want to see here? All right, no worries. We're gonna go back to this. Okay. And then let's just do one of these. All right. There we go. Okay. Tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. There you are, right there. Okay, let's go ahead and click on that county. So we have this issued. It looks like it's Springfield. Well, it's going to come out of the office of Springfield, Missouri. We have hazardous weather outlook. Strong to severe storms possible this afternoon into tonight. All modes of severe storms will be possible with the best chance of severe weather west of West Plains to Salem line. Hail to the size of golf ball, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour with those tornadoes possible. Heavy rainfall associated with multiple rounds of thunderstorms could cause localized flooding concerns. Damaging wind gusts up to 35 to 40 miles per hour will be possible outside of thunderstorms today, and a few strong storms are possible on Thursday. Flooding may be a cause for heavy rainfall may be a concern and may be a cause for some flooding that we see possible. Spotter activation may be needed. Meeting storm spotters, if you guys are ready to go, I highly recommend that you do such thing because it looks like they will need some storm spotters. Hello to everybody wow, I didn't realize. Hello to everybody who's joining us here on Instagram. We do have some people who have joined us across other platforms. Hello to everybody. Once again, I'm meteorologist Erika Martin, and you are watching Erika Martin Weather and Climate. Now, another thing we're going to want to get to quickly is, of course, the severe thunderstorms warning that have been issued. Let's go back just a little bit. We have with our tornado watches in effect for Oklahoma, along with severe thunderstorm warnings. We have an important update right here. We have our flash flood warning. This is super important. Oftentimes, apart from the tornado warning, this will then take precedence. Okay, so just be aware that we do have tornado warnings and flash flood warnings in this area. So here we have Missouri, we have Oklahoma, we do have Kansas as well in the crosshairs, but let's go ahead and click on this and let's see who's in this. We have Springfield, Missouri. You also have a flash flood warning in effect until 11:45 p.m. local time. All right. So again, that's one of our other top stories that we have here at our studio today. I'm so excited to be back with you guys in my studio. I hope you guys like the setup here. I also have my really cool couch here. This is a gift from my mom. Restoration Hardware. She did a good job there. Thanks, Mom. I love you so much for that wonderful, wonderful sofa or couch. Or it's more like, it's not, I wouldn't call it a couch, but it's beautiful sitting piece. Severe storms issued flood concerns. And like I mentioned, we have a story on noise pollution. Alrighty, let's get to that noise pollution story. No, it was somewhere over here. Oh, this is great. This is from Pagasa. This is the Philippine Atmospheric Geophysical Astronomical Services Administration. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But this is a wonderful depiction of, let me refresh this quickly. I might have to refresh it just to make sure. Come on. All right, give me my surface analysis. Why? I don't like when it takes so long to upload, So let's just see. Let's just load this. All right, here we go. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. We have central pressure of 1,004. So 1,008, 1,004, 6, 1,004, 1,002, right around 1,000 millibars, okay? Because remember, we're going with isobars here, equal lines of pressure, okay? So iso tax, isodrosotherms, isoplets. They're generally called isoplets, the line that would denote areas or variables or qualifiers of equal value. In this case, this is an isobar, so areas or lines of equal pressure. Okay, so here we have 1,008 millibars, 1,006, 1,004, 1,002, and 1,000. All right, so as we just mentioned, it's going over the Northern Mariana Islands. Saipan is going to be hit quite strong. I am concerned about that, but we're going to have to be really aware and really kind of careful about what's happening there. Let me turn around, if you will, and allow me to click on here. All right, we've got that makes sense here. Let's see if I can get my local. Oh, this is great. This is by College of DuPage, by the way. If you guys don't look at this, these are the shadow storms here lined up. These are wonderful. So this is College of DuPage. They do a great job. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about NCAR, another university doing a great job, but it looks like NOAA is trying to get all that data. So that's something that we want to talk about. Not right now. And also I don't want anybody coming after me at like 2 a.m. Just saying that. I'm kidding. Not really. Okay, here we go. So right here we have our storms are highlighted in that bright red right there. Okay, can you guys see that? Let me pull this up over here as well. I'm going to go to my NextRad product right here so that we can see what's happening with the College of DuPage. What is this? Cod weather. Here we go. Oh, I should get a sweatshirt. That's a cute one. All right, satellite and radar. Here we go. Let's put this into play. Oh, there you are. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right here. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let's just go with our mosaic radar. Okay, can you guys see that? I hope you guys can. Let me see if I can just move this up for you guys a little bit. There we go. Mosaic radar. And let's see if we can pick out our sectors. Well, not our global sectors. Let's go with our regional sectors. All right, there we go. All right, there we are. Okay, now it looks like this is the area of concern. Yeah, tornado warning. That's correct. That is the area of concern. All right, so these are the storms that we're seeing. Okay, why is this doing that? Okay, these are the areas, these are the storms we're seeing, giving us a major problem as they move across the Midwest. Okay, so we have a lot of storms here. This entire area is hatched in that bright yellow, that canary yellow I talked about. There it is right there, as you can see. There, it's, we have Iowa, we have Missouri, we have portions of Kansas, which, by the way, does include a flash flood warning, and we also have Oklahoma in this area. And it looks like, yeah, that's a pretty small area, but I just want to make sure here that before I start saying, here we go. Uh-huh. Yeah, we do have a part of Arkansas in this right now. And it looks like they're actually expanding this. Okay. So just be aware if you are in this region that you are actually going to see the expansion of what I think would be this either severe thunderstorm warning first and tornado watch. But I do think this is going to be tornado watch soon enough. All right. Let's see what else we have here. As we just mentioned, we had our noise pollution story. There it is. It's a good one. And I think this one I take personally because you guys have heard me say, like, wow, it's so loud around here. But noise pollution is affecting birds and their reproduction, stress levels, and more. The good news is we can fix it. New research led by the University of Michigan School for Environment and Sustainability reveals how noise pollution is impacting birds globally. This is saying that the extensive analysis encompassed data from more than 150 studies published since 1990, and the studies covered 160 bird species from 6 continents. Basically, humans are loud as bleep, and we need to really be more mindful of the other types of species and living organisms we're sharing our planet with. All right. So that's something you want to be really aware of. I had another really good story here. This one was a little bit more, what's the word? It was a little bit more conspiracy theory. And if you're okay with it, I'll read it to you. Let's see if we have any people who are going to oppose. Hi, Ginger. Mwah, love you. I miss you. I'm here. I'm in LA. So I've got to see you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You guys make sure you follow Chef Ginger. She is amazing, amazingly gifted, and one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. Okay. So when I looked at the Super Typhoon, and I was a little concerned about it, right? I was like, okay, this is a really interesting situation. And the reason I thought of it first, and I want to make sure I time this out. Where am I right now, time wise? I'm at about, I don't see my time. All right, I've got to remember this part. Okay, so guys, tell me if you think that I was completely off. Okay. So in light of what's happening politically and everything that's happening in the world, I thought to myself, okay, what would it take to create a hurricane? All right. So you all know we've heard of cloud seeding. I was curious to see, like, what would it really take to create a hurricane? Like, let's just say I wanted to cause some kind of distraction, right? And I was like, let's just make a hurricane go through, I don't know, the Bikini Atoll. Like, imagine if I just said that, if I was like, oh, I'm a mad scientist. I'd like to distract everybody and I don't know, deter the attention. I was like, what if I was able to create a hurricane and somehow it managed to impact the nuclear disaster that is the Bikini Atoll? I thought to myself, could that possibly happen? Now, I turned to my husband this morning at 7 a.m, my romantic pillow talk. I was like, do you think that this hurricane could have been man-made? Okay, now you guys, you know I've studied meteorology forever. I'm an atmospheric science, and yes, we are making great strides. But I really wanted to know, what would it take if I needed to create a distracting or a deterrent from what's happening right now, to just see what exactly would it take for me to get a hurricane going, and how much would it cost me? How much would it cost me to make a hurricane, or to get some mad scientists to create one for me? Because I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. All right, so this is a good one. Scientists have figured out how to create a Category 5 hurricane cinco in a lab. Understanding more about the science of hurricanes can help to forecast climate change and even save lives. Absolutely agree. But of course, getting up close to one of these phenomenally powerful quirks of our weather system is fraught with danger. Who wrote this? This is bad writing. David Neild. Awful. Quirks? It's not a quirk. It's a natural disaster. Okay, but let's keep going. That's why the University of Miami has spent $45 million on an indoor laboratory capable of producing hurricanes up to category 5 level, which means basically any influencer like on TikTok making tons of money could be like, oh, can I just give you $45 million to just like, I don't know, make like a hurricane for me? Category 5, by the way. Laboratory capable of producing hurricanes up to a category 5 level with wind speeds reaching more than 157 miles per hour. The lab is called SUSTAIN, awesome name, that stands for Surge Structure Atmosphere Interaction. It comprises a 75-foot long, 30,000 gallon acrylic water tank, a 1,700 horsepower fan, and a 12 paddle wave generator that together can create all manners of waves and weather conditions. Now, at $45 million, that's not a lot of money, okay? It really isn't. Like, all you need is like some TikTok influencer who's just bored out of his mind, or just an influencer, or I don't know, a really rich billionaire. A billionaire. Well, they're really rich, right? That didn't make any sense, right? Okay, a billionaire is just like, you know what? I think I want a hurricane, and I want to name it after like myself, even though we have our hurricanes names already for the season. But you know what? A little extra change that probably could get their name in there. We can create the equivalent of a hurricane with winds over 200 miles per hour. The equipment housed at SUSTAIN, remember, University of Miami, can be coded to recreate historical storms of the past, which is great, of course, because you do need to do that, giving scientists an opportunity to measure wind patterns for hurricanes that have long since dissipated. They could also monitor differences between different categories of storms, ultimately advising governments and authorities on the best ways to tackle them, thanks to the data pulled from the lab. Alrighty, so that was kind of something that I thought about, and I wanted to mention it to you guys. I thought about it earlier, and I meant to bring it up and raise your awareness to this. But I thought to myself, well, geez, Louise, this is kind of what? No, I don't need a car accident. What? No, what is this? I don't have a car accident. No, please. Okay, hang on. It just took, it was okay, I just clicked it. What a sucker. Clickbait. They got me really good. Okay, hang tight. So basically, I was talking about like the Bikini Atoll, right? And I was just like, what if this could actually, here it is. There it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, you're so pretty. Look at that. Wow, 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 wow. It is a beauty. I hadn't had a chance to look at it over the past couple of hours. So here we're using IR. Wow, timestamp 2220. Wow, this is quite an endeavor by Mother Nature, don't you think? Let's see here once again. The trajectory. We see here that on the 15th, we have it at 115 knots. It starts to dissipate and weaken by the 16th. And then by the 17th, we're at 90 knots. And then at 17th, 18Z. Whoa, 18Z. Then we are at, let's just plug this in quickly. We're going to be at 85 knots. Okay, so with that said, this is going to be quite an interesting stretch, especially for the Pacific. Now, what does that mean? I mean, honestly, it just means that we have to be more mindful of what's happening in the Pacific, especially as we deal with El Nino on the way. Yes, we're going to talk about a super El Nino shortly. But with that said, of course, I have to leave you with my good news. And I really love this good news. Okay. Just weeks ago, a jaguar was captured on camera in Honduras, Sierra del Merendon mountain range, for the first time in a decade as part of a high-tech monitoring and conservation effort from Panthera, the global wildcat conservation organization. taken among cloud forests at over 6,000 feet in elevation on the range's highest peak. The images capture an impressively healthy male jaguar just 2 meters from the exact location of the park's first ever jaguar sighting, recorded 10 years and 2 days earlier. They cloud moniker this cat has picked up, or the cloud moniker, the name is the cat has picked up in the media, isn't a reflection of speciation such as the leopard and the clouded leopard, but merely because of its habitation atop of the highest heights in Honduras. So the discovery also marks the highest elevation at which a cloud jaguar, remember that's just a nickname, the moniker, has been documented in Honduras, with the species most commonly found at below 3,000 meters, and provides rare evidence that jaguars are still moving through the high elevation corridor between Honduras and Guatemala. What an amazing story. Wow, wow, wow. Let's see here. The sighting is particularly significant given Honduras has one of the highest deforestation rates in all of Latin America. So sad. Today, the Merendon Range is a critical passageway within the Jaguar Corridor, which connects habitats from Mexico to Argentina and enables species to roam, find mates, and maintain genetic diversity. Jaguars have already been lost from nearly half of their historic range and are near threatened on the, IUCN Red List. So I'm just happy that we have been able, here's a look at this beautiful, beautiful creature. Not those feet and not those hands. What is that? This is an awful image there. There it is. That's the image I want to show you. I was like, what is that? You guys, this is absolutely fascinating, because if Honduras, which is what this story is saying, is implicating, is indeed an area with high deforestation, and this jaguar has now been sighted and looks like it's in great shape, right? Like it's healthy, probably looking for mate. I hope so. Every living organism deserves love. I wonder, Andy Corbley, thank you for this write up on Good News Network. This is a good one. I wonder if there are more, and perhaps could there be cubs. But I tell you what, I warn you guys, I don't want to, I am all for wildlife preservation. If I see that people are out there poaching and deforesting this area, I'm going to hop right back on and give you guys more live updates. All right. Do I have time to give shout outs? We've had a lot of people on here. I might have time to give. New Matt! Hi! Okay, let me go through this really quickly. K Todd, Alicia Ray, D.S. Walker, Daniel, Shanti, Shirley Richards, Dean Spinelli, Gustavo, Jeannie, Debiasa, Jose Rosa, C.H. Michael, Macau 23, Bosock 09, Chef Ginger, David Washington, Stephen Brown, New Matt IC, J. Rowe, Ryder 11969. So with that said, I am going to leave you once again with our, let's see, here we are. Our overall look at what's happening with our weather alerts across the lower 48s. I believe this is an interesting setup over the next couple of days. What could this mean for the entire country? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because we clearly see that we have the stationary boundary just lingering, and then we have this new cold front that's going to dive down. All right. With that said, I'm meteorologist Erika Martin. Thank you so much for joining me here at Erika Martin Weather and Climate. I will be back with some more updates, and I'm super excited to dig in some more. But I do hope you enjoyed. Probably my favorite piece of this all, apart from keeping people abreast as far as Super Typhoon Sinlaku is concerned, I love the good news for the cloud jaguar in Honduras. Guys, let's keep our wildlife species safe in any way possible. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your, afternoon, almost evening, PDT wise. Mwah, besitos.